security is singularly absent at the moment. There are no police at all in this particular area. I think it's safe to say that the police are rather stretched at the moment. They're trying to cover the whole of Canberra and cover the entire 16 kilometres of the route. And that's a hard ask, a hard job. And as a result of that, they can't be everywhere at the same time. And the problem is that we had these little outbreaks of shouting between rival groups of demonstrators breaking out every few hundred metres, and it's difficult to know where the next little bit of trouble is going to be. Now we have monks, we have Chinese students, we have a whole sort of very cross-section of Asian society here, if you like, and it's amazing that there's not been any violent scenes so far. I hasten to add that I've just seen someone take a Chinese flag away from a demonstrator, and there's a bit of a row going on about that. But generally speaking, it has remained fairly good humour, fortunately.
Today was just sensational. We got up fairly early this morning, and I probably didn't realise just how much it all meant until we were standing on the Commonwealth Road Bridge, and the torch was coming up, and I took it from a Paralympic gold medalist, and I ran 250 metres, and all my family and friends were there, and it was amazing. But then it's funny, Rob Di Castella, who sort of represented Australia at the Olympics and Commonwealth Games, he sort of put it in perspective. He said, Robert, it actually only starts here. He said, the passion that you had today is really about inspiring kids to do something extraordinary. So, and when we got back to the Reconciliation Park, and that's what's happening in the background, it probably took us, all the torchbearers got off our bus at the gate, and they could have driven us in, but we all sort of walked through the crowd, and it took us about 2.5 hours to get through the crowd.
One of the,
it's amazing.
I guess for a lot of people, something like this, it is such an experience. It's an inspiration to those who really see what the Olympic Games were all about. The cooperation and peace between nations brought together by sport, and the hard work of the athletes as well. And then you see the protests that are taking place. Did that have an impact? Did you think about the protests at all and what they meant?
Well, everyone in the world has to sympathise with Tibet, there's no question. But, this is Australia. I mean, we've got to respect everyone's right to protest. They can have a difference of opinion here. But on the other side of that, they should respect my right to run. And they did today. Actually, Australia lived up to all my expectations. I'm probably the proudest Australian in the country, and my daughter was a proud Australian. So, as Australia, we sort of lived up to my expectations, and that's not about the world, and that's not about anything. I've lived here all my life, and I can't tell you how much that means.
I think I was reading in my notes about your daughter that just before the 2000 Sydney Games, when the torch relay had run past your home, one of the torchbearers had let her hold the flame for a little bit, the torch, and she was just on cloud 9. One can only imagine what she was probably thinking today.
Like Morgan was 14 when she was tragically killed, and we're talking 8 years ago, sort of. So she was 6 at the time, and one of the torch relay runners actually stopped, and she held it for a minute. And even today, I mean, basically as we walked back through, we all had the torches that we ran with, and you sort of, I remembered how much Morgan got out of it. So, we stopped and I took photos, and, we gave it, I said, yeah, hold it, it's a torch, so, I'm number 14 in the relay, and I look, you just can't imagine sort of how proud about the Olympics, how proud about Australia. The Tibetan activists had their say, and they waved as we went past. And I was in a bus with Libby Trickett. So I mean, how do you get it? She's the most lovely person on the planet. So how do you get upset with Libby Trickett? So we just had a wonderful time today, and
Robert,
my friends came down, and it was wonderful.
Thank you so much, Robert. We really appreciate you spending a couple of minutes with us to tell us about your experience.
The only thing we asked people, something came out of today. We asked people to enjoy a Morgan moment in their day every day.